Hi guys, it's Nat and welcome to my first ever Sims 4 speed build. I've never really built in The Sims before, at least not The Sims 4. I possibly have in The Sims 3. I don't really remember much, and I'm also more of a interior design kind of person, but I've always wanted to get better at building, so I thought why not just start? Why not just go ahead and start building? So this video is the first of a whole build series that I'm gonna be doing. It's just gonna be me building, really trying to get better at building, and I wanted to bring y'all with me. So today's build is a nice quaint starter home, I'd say. It has a lot of focus on landscaping, but I did want to make just like a really cute little small home with a flippin' amazing yard and trees and a pond, lots of flowers. But right here, I'm just working on the roof. I've always thought roofing was just like one of the toughest things ever in The Sims. And then I also wanted to add a porch as well, so I was trying to figure out how to exactly do that. So I kept messing around with the different platform options, and I eventually figured that, hey, I want to add like a railing to this, but there's its own feature for that to add a railing to the porch. So I was like, okay, maybe I should delete this platform and put this one on because it has a railing attached to it. And then I couldn't figure how to put like flooring on this one square space, so I thought, hey, why don't I just fix that by adding like moving the wall and adding kind of a extra structure to the house. I guess it made it look kind of interesting. Then I tried fixing the roof a bit here, and I was pretty content with how it was looking so far. I did try making the roofing a little bit like longer, but it looked kind of awkward, so I just left it how it was. And then I was trying to figure out what color I wanted the house to be. So at first I chose this kind of like red barn color. Chat was roasting me a bit on that. But I liked it. It stood out. This nice like dark deep red. And I didn't panel the that little small front part of the house because I wanted to make that a different color. I don't know, just add some kind of character to the house in some way. But I really couldn't figure out what color I wanted. I tried white and then pink, and I was just going back through looking through the colors, and then I kind of like changed my mind on that color of the house and went with blue instead. I really enjoyed the blue color. Again, I was trying to figure out like two colors that I wanted for this house. I didn't want it to be one solid color, so I was really trying to figure out what two colors would kind of go together, and then this yellow and blue look pretty nice with each other. And then I went back to the railing. I was trying to figure out whether which railing I wanted to use, whether I wanted a plain white one, maybe a brown railing. So again, I was looking through my options. This is all base game, by the way. Everything that I used in this build is base game, probably minus one or two things that we'll see. I don't really remember, but most of it 100% sure it was base game. And I'll definitely be trying to figure out how to upload this to the gallery so you guys can also like have this house and I don't know, maybe want to use it with one of your sims or in your town. Here I was trying to add some columns so I can add roofing over this porch, and it was a bit of a complicated process or so, I thought. I mean, I had like these three roofs over each other and it just looked so awkward. So I tried to add a roof over that, so it didn't look awkward and it kind of looked a little better. I was still a little iffy on it, but the house was coming together. I was seeing the vision before my eyes and it looked nice. I mean, I really went into this with no reference, just kind of picking my own brain, figuring out what I wanted to do here and just figuring it out along the way. Then it was time to add some steps to our little cute porch. So the process for that was a little weird for me. I couldn't add the steps because like the railing was in the way, I was guessing, but once I kind of moved that railing part out of the way, I could add the steps. And I also wanted to add railing to those steps, you know, safety precautions. At this point, I'm feeling pretty good about my house so far, so I was kind of like just reflecting on that for a bit while I also tried to figure out what I was gonna do with this front yard situation. But before that, I realized that I needed to add some kind of flooring going to my porch. So I was again looking through my options and like this like lighter beige color. Then I wanted to add a door. So I thought this door was nice with this kind of pattern that it had on it. The design on it was nice and the blue matched the house. I think I do go back and change that door though. I do go back and change some things that I rather have instead. Here I realized that I wanted a bay window kind of look, but the roofing part for this was so bad. I couldn't figure out what roof I needed to put, and kind of when I did figure it out, it just didn't look right to me. I kind of spent a while on it because I really wanted it to work. I wanted this bay window situation, so I was trying any kind of roof that seemed like it might work there. But it just kept looking awkward and weird, and I was messing around with the size of the roof, the height of the roof, the just anything to make it work. So here we have like this cone head kind of roof, and then I was trying to shrink it again and flatten it, and I thought, oh, maybe this kind of dome situation looks nice, but like I wasn't really like confident with it. I wasn't happy with it, and it just stuck out so much. But I just thought maybe I'm trying to see the vision. Maybe if I just add some more stuff and the vision will be there. Then again, I changed the color of the house, and then I go back to the other color, the yellow. I was playing around with the blue and yellow, and then I realized that there's no floor at the end of this wall there. Like I didn't realize that, and I was trying to figure out how to fix that, and I was only making that part of the house bigger. um so it was kind of a mess. Like the floor was there, like that problem got fixed, but only for another problem to arise, and then the roofing was also still looking weird. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of that, maybe add more to the house, and adding this extra wall will fix it, and maybe the roofing won't look so bad on it. So I was stacking roofs on roofs on roofs, trying to make it work. Like I thought I could make it work. I was really trying. Going into it, I knew that it was gonna be complicated. Like I knew I wasn't gonna get things right off the bat, so I was gonna have trouble, especially with roofing, figuring out the roofing. So I keep trying different types of roofs and multiple roofs to make it not look weird. At least for me to enjoy the look of the house. But I couldn't figure it out. I was messing around with the roofs, making them taller, shorter, but it just kept looking weird. It just kept looking awkward. It was sad, honestly. It was sad. I went back to the cone look, because again, maybe it was gonna work. Maybe there was something I was missing with that cone. And again, I keep making the house slightly bigger because I feel like that's just gonna fix the problem. And then I thought maybe adding like a platform in there would work, and then instead it just adds more of the problem to the side of the house where there is no flooring, and I just keep kind of going back between the roof and the floor. But I guess I kind of decided on that pointy roof, and then hey, maybe add a window here. Maybe I need to see the vision. Let's add a window. I did want a bay window, but I liked the look of this like triple window, was one bigger window and then the smaller windows beside it. I also found out that there was like these balcony things and that you could add, so I was kind of looking at those. I really like the look of having that flower bed under the window. That was kind of what I was seeing in my head when I was thinking about this part of the house. Now here I was realizing that maybe I wanted a different color for the house because I can't make up my mind. So I chose this brick / brown paneling thing, and then decided that I wanted that front part of the house all brick to kind of, again, some kind of character to the house, but the brick colors didn't really match that much together, and I kept trying to double check, triple check to see if they really matched, and I thought I found a brick color that matched, but it was a little off. Like you could kind of tell that the color was a bit off. But I wanted to make it work. I had all these ideas. I was just messing around with them, and really trying to figure out what exactly I wanted and what was I gonna decide on. You kind of have all these ideas in your head, so you're trying to play them out and figure out what you actually want. So here I go back to the yellow because maybe this yellow and brickwork. I was trying to figure out the color for the roof though because I wanted that part of that roof on that side to be brick, but it just kept being that yellow color because the other roof under it or next to it was also yellow. So I just kind of let it be. Here I went back to the door because I didn't really like that blue door anymore, so I was trying to look for a new door that would kind of fit the vibe of the house. I believe I chose this brown, like beige brown door. Now that door might have looked a little basic, but as the house is yellow and has that brick with it, I thought it fit. And then it was time for windows, and I was having a little situation with the windows. I wasn't really sure if the blinds that were part of the window were supposed to be on the inside of the house and not the outside. So I kind of tested it and tried seeing what it would look like with the blinds on the inside, and it did look weird. They are supposed to be on the outside, but at least I was glad that I double checked that. So I added a couple windows to let in some natural lighting to the house. Then I realized that the bottom part foundation of the house needed that paneling. Then it was time for the yard. So I was looking through the different flooring options, but it just wasn't sitting right with me. I wasn't liking how any of them were looking, and it wasn't even what I was looking for exactly. But I kept trying to figure out which one of these would work because I couldn't figure out how to actually like mess around with the dirt and add like a gravel, rocky sort of look, because that's what I was trying to go for. I wanted like an old pathway of some sort, and not like a tile flooring. But I left that floor be for now because I wanted to add the pond. I was excited for the pond. I had never really added a pond to any yard or housing or anything at all. But look at me going back and forth. So after I kind of messed with terrain, I figured out how I can actually add that like rocky pathway look that I wanted to do. So I kept messing around and trying to make it not look so perfect and make it look a little wonky. I also added a semi pathway to the pond, and then I finally added that water to the pond. There are two ponds in this house, one in the smaller one in the front, and then there was a bigger one I added in the back. Of course, I did want a big tree. I was imagining a big tree with this pond. I added more of that gravel rock pathway look. Then I was looking for different ways to kind of add to this pond. And I was looking through the options of the different water I could add to it. And then I found these different grasses and lily pads I could add to the pond. So I was really happy when I found those. I just thought it made the pond look, I don't know, so much more realistic in a way. I just really enjoyed seeing the lily pads in the pond. It added like a little nice extra something to it. Then of course I had to add more trees because I just wanted all the greenery possible in this yard. Trees, flowers, all of that. Like I wanted my trees. Then I was looking through the flowers and bushes, so I really enjoyed having these sunflowers here in the front, but I couldn't figure out how to add a little fence in front of it without adding another porch of some sort, so I gave up on that idea and just kept looking through more of the landscaping options, and I found these rocks. And I also ended up adding some of those rocks to the pond because, again, it just added so much more to the pond. But I really enjoyed these rocks. I think you can't go wrong with rocks. Like you can't. They're there the same way as a bush or a flower. It's nice like yard decoration. And then here, I was again trying to figure out the fence situation thing, because I guess I really wanted that little mini fence, but it wasn't working out. Like I was trying to figure it out, but your girl just wasn't there yet. She wasn't advanced at her skills yet. I went back and fixed some of the color paneling of the house because it wasn't that full yellow. I guess I decided I wanted that part of that house yellow instead of brick, and it looked good. I just can't go over how many times I just go back and like change things. I don't know, just later I ended up changing my mind on the way things look. So I'm adding more sunflowers. The rocks were kind of in the way, but then it looked kind of weird with the sunflowers kind of just sticking out and not being together in that like part of the house that I wanted. Uh, so I went looking for some more bushes and any sort of greenery I can find to add. I added more of uh this grass near the tree, looking for more bushes to put in the front yard, but it just wasn't like all sitting the way I wanted it to. Uh, so eventually I realized, hey, there's a cheat called BB Move Objects that'll help me put bushes and anything that I want where I want it to be mostly. So once I kind of put that on or turned that on, I was able to put the bushes where I wanted and put things how I wanted them to be. And I was actually very happy that I ended up doing that. And I wondered why I didn't do it earlier, but it's a good thing I remembered. So I ended up putting all the bushes and flowers that I wanted in that little front part of the house. And I was really loving how it looked. The blue hydrangeas were probably like my favorite part with the sunflowers too. The sunflowers I really enjoyed. Adding more greenery, grass, flowers to the pond, looking for more trees. I wanted to add more like bushes to the front that weren't right in the front of the house, kind of in the yard. So I kind of added this like leafy bush. I don't know what you would call it. I also added rocks and another flower bush, and it was looking really good. I was messing around with some of the green landscaping, seeing if I wanted grass to look a darker green, but I didn't like it. I kind of just left it how it was though. I do like that dirt option that you can put under your flowers or any bushes that you have. It just gives it a slightly more realistic look. I also loved adding it to the pond too. It just made the pond look so much better. And then I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to do the backyard of the house or the inside of the house, and I decided I wanted to do the inside. I was thinking that maybe I could add stairs to make the house bigger, but that would just defeat the purpose of this being a small little, let's say like a slightly fancier starter home, just because of how beautiful I'd say the yard is with the two ponds and the trees. So most of the property space is taken up by the yard, and then you have this nice quaint small home in the middle of all that lovely greenery and nature. I couldn't really figure out how I wanted this floor plan to be and which side I wanted the bedroom and bathroom to be on versus where the living room, kitchen, and dining room was gonna be. But I kept trying to be creative, working with the space that I had. And once I figured out kind of where I was going with that, I started working on the interior. So first I had to put in some lighting because it was really hard to see. Obviously, the natural lighting was not going to be enough. So definitely needed a lot of lighting. So when it came to choosing the wallpaper or the color for the walls, I knew that I wanted color in this house. So I was trying to figure out what colors I exactly wanted to work with, and I knew green was one of them. I chose this muted sage light green, and I paired that with a wood flooring. Again, those kind of corners there that you see that don't have flooring on them were things I was hoping I was gonna figure out later on, but when I came back to it, I just gave up on that diagonal wall there. I just ended up fixing the wall to face the front of the house instead of it being diagonal, because I couldn't figure out why that there was no flooring there. I even just started messing with the roof. I was starting to mess with other things in hopes that it would fix that flooring problem, but I didn't figure it out. But that's okay because I know that I'm gonna get better at building, and I'll figure out these situations. That way I can make the houses that I truly want and not have to change something up because there was just a little small issue or something out of order, some weird technique thing that I wasn't doing. So yeah, I ended up fixing that part of the house so there is flooring. And once I did that, I was looking for flooring to put down for the kitchen. I wanted the kitchen to have different flooring, a tile flooring to contrast that wooden floor that would only be for the dining room and the living room. Then when I was picking out counters, I was also trying to figure out some sort of theme that I wanted for the kitchen. So I wanted to kind of keep the wallpaper in mind and the color of the floor, like that beige tile. And this green really stood out to me the most. I was doing some weird thing with the counters, trying to have them all connect together. And I thought this worked. Like at first, from a distance, the counters, the way they were placed, it worked. So I was picking the fridge, I picked out a stove, and I was feeling pretty happy with the way the counters were looking. When I looked closer, they were kind of looking glitchy and weird, and I thought in actual sim gameplay that Sims would be unable to use the counters, so I adjusted them later to where the stove and the refrigerator would be in between the counters, and I ended up liking it a lot better anyway. So after I added a sink, the window looked too low. I had adjusted it higher, but it still looked weird, so I entirely changed the window to the other windows that I had already used for the house. But what I didn't realize earlier is that I had accidentally lifted the platform slightly, which is why the window looked awkward and it didn't before. But I mean, the window that I ended up using matched the rest of the house and it looked fine. Next was adding kind of clutter to the kitchen. So I was looking for little miscellaneous items. There's a cork board, there's a paper towel roll, there's a container to put like your utensils and stuff you'd use for cooking. So I tried adding a little bit extra to the kitchen in that way. I also made sure that I wanted a lot of plants in the house and not just having all this landscape on the outside. I really love filling a home with all kinds of plants. I think it adds just as much as any miscellaneous decor. But we can't forget curtains. That's another good element to have in homes. Curtains can really add a lot to a room. I was still trying to figure out which curtains were gonna go best with this green and then the brown wood flooring and the beige and white tiles. I decided on orange curtains and I think it contrasted very well with the green counters and the rest of the colors of the house. I chose ceiling lighting for the kitchen and the top of the lights were kind of a green color that matched the counters. I also added a flower or sunflower painting just for more decoration there in the kitchen. Then it was time for this little small dining area and I wanted a round table. I just wasn't sure which one or how modern or like contemporary I wanted to go with it, whether I wanted something kind of bright and vibrant to keep up with the colors of the house, because I wanted to go for a semi-colorful look, but not too much where it just the colors wouldn't go well together or it just looked like a weird funky clown house or something. So I wanted the colors I was using to look good with each other. I did end up deciding on this square glass table, which almost seemed like the opposite thing that I wanted in my head at first, but it just called to me. And then these deep, rich blue chairs just fit perfectly here. For some reason, it was all working. Like I love the blue chairs so much, and it contrasts so well with the green. Have these earthy tones here. It was mwah, chef's kiss by a long run. Of course, had to add more plants, so I put a potted plant in the corner and a vase on top of the dining table. Then I added a coat rack, of course, to add some more miscellaneous fun wall decor. For the couch, I knew I wanted to stick with more color, color as a priority, there's the Nickelodeon couch for you. I just love the orange because it matches with the blue chairs, it matches with the green, again, matches with the curtains. When I was trying to figure out this TV situation, I had first used a coffee table for a surface to put the TV on, but then I actually found a better surface to put it on, and I could use an actual coffee table as a coffee table. And I also switched out to a better TV because that small TV just looks a little bit ridiculous to me. As I went with the nicer, bigger plasma TV right there. Then I realized I didn't add any doors to the bedrooms, so I chose a nice plain beige door. Also realized that there needed to be a back door, so instead of a regular door for the back door, I put a sliding door. Thought it looked a little better. But I needed to move the potted plant and the table so it wasn't in the way of that door, and it still looked fine. It looked decently spacious in the house. Added another painting for some more wall decor. Then it was time to figure out the bedrooms and the bathroom. So the theme for the bathroom is pretty colorful and vibrant, but like not of the same entire color palette that was the rest of the house. This icy blue color does in a way still match with the rest of the colors of the house, but still in its own space because of how bright and light it was compared to the earth tones that you see in the living room and kitchen dining room. When I was figuring out the layout for this bathroom, I wanted to be logical about it because there are two windows in this bathroom. Now, at first, I did really think that that yellow and icy blue combination looked good, but I switched out that medicine cabinet for an orange one and then eventually switched out the shower curtain as well for that red, orange, white combination. I liked it a lot more than the yellow, so I continued to kind of keep that orange color in a way to kind of keep some of the color palette and not go too off base. And for another fun color, this bluish purple color with the robe and the soap dispenser. Also figured that maybe I should add some blinds. Maybe blinds would help so I could keep that window there. I did move the other window to the other side of that wall, so it was in the bedroom instead of in the bathroom. I spent a little bit of time looking for some curtains or actually blinds that I wanted to add to the bathroom, so I ended up rearranging the bathroom layout and moved the shower to the other side of the wall where the window had been before. Thought it looked a lot better to have that window open so the blinds could kind of sit on it and just not look awkward. Overall, I like the way the bathroom turned out. I think the light blue walls and floor just contrast very well with the orange and purple, and again, keeping color a priority in this house. Next, it was the master bedroom. I put carpet down in both bedrooms, a light colored carpet. And then when I was trying to figure out how I was going to furnish these two bedrooms, I was kind of thinking like one adult and one child or one teen or, like two siblings or something. Could also be a couple with a kid or any of those likes. I wanted to keep the options very wide. At first, I was going with that icy blue wall color to kind of match the bathroom. I was going with that orange and blue combination, gave the room some green curtains with that potted plant and that kind of greenish side table. The color palette for this room were colors that I did already use in the house, so I knew they worked well together. So I added some wall decor and added a lamp just to add more things to the room. But of course, your girl changes her mind once again, and I go for this light purple wall color that kind of plays well with that purple robe and soap dispenser in the bathroom. I changed the bed to have this brown theme to it, and the green with the purple and the orange and the brown just looks so good together. I added some clutter items, a bookshelf, some perfumes there, body lotions, added a basket and a chair, and the room just turned out wonderful. I loved it. On to the next bedroom, which I was kind of coining as a children's room or teens room. I was working with a pretty decently small space, so I had to be creative here. I chose a light peach orange color for the walls. Again, just kind of loving that orange for some reason. I chose this bunk bed kind of bed just so I'd have more floor space. When I was trying to figure out what else I wanted to put in this bedroom, I was going back and forth between like a dresser drawer and a desk. Was also looking for some rugs, realized that I should have rugs in my bedroom. They really do even a lot more as wall decor and clutter. The rugs chosen for each bedroom matched that room quite well. This light blue circle rug with the light orange wall color and the light green bed just looked so good. It really gave off that kid room. Added a bookshelf, almost thought about moving the window to put the bookshelf in a specific spot, but changed my mind. I enjoyed the window in its previous spot. Looked for some more wall decor, of course, kids specific. That dinosaur painting is really cute, and I like the green framing around it again to match the greens in the room. When it came to some of the lighting, this wall hanging star lights were so cute. That would definitely be something I'd have in my room, kid or not. They're absolutely adorable. I really adore how the kids' bedroom turned out. It is so flippin' cute. The master bedroom, amazing. Bathroom, amazing. I just love how the interior of the house turned out. Then it was time for the backyard, so I needed to add some steps so Sims could walk out of the house using that back sliding door. It was a little weird because the steps were kind of cutting in to the wall, and I tried to figure out if I could just add one railing to the side of the steps, but it didn't work out, so I left the railing how it was. It was time for the other pond on this property. By the way, at this point, I'd been almost working on the house for like 3 hours and 45 minutes, and it was my first build ever or in a really long time, so I was kind of trying to rush this backyard part, but I still wanted to do it justice because again, the landscaping on this property is the best part. Just the two ponds and all the trees and flowers, so beautiful. The thing is, though, with this back pond, I was a little iffy on the size and just the edges of the pond because it didn't look smooth or natural. So I kind of messed around with it a little bit here and there, added more dirt, also gave that pond the leafy look. Like all the leaves fell into the pond, added more lily pads, a log, grass. I think I also added some rocks in there too, and it was a pretty pond. I loved it. It's as gorgeous as the one in the front of the house. Adjusting some of the grass there and added more rocks, added more flowers as well to the backyard. What I was thinking for the backyard was to have like a little picnic sit out area. Wanted to use that same rocky pathway for the back, so kind of guided that path toward the pond, and I had it lead out to the other direction of the house for that picnic cookout area, which I was gonna try to keep pretty simple and just again focus on landscaping. So when I was trying to pick out a picnic table, also realized I wanted a bench in the front, but I went with a simpler picnic table than I initially chose, and the grill kind of was a little quirky and fun. It was orange and a little fiesta-ish to kind of match the inside interior of the house and the color vibes. Added lights in the back so it wouldn't be too dark when it was nighttime. Added more bushes. Also was trying to figure out what flowers I might have wanted to put in there, but they all looked kind of awkward, even the sunflowers poking out. I mean, in my head, thought it would be cute, but the execution was not there. Added more flower bushes to the trees, did that rock thing again that I did in the front where I just added a couple rocks and then a bush, and it looked really good. I added a bunch of wildflowers anywhere and everywhere I could, mostly near the trees, and anywhere it just seemed too plain to me think it also added quite a bit to the house, having those wildflowers. There's a bunch of different colors like white, yellow, and pink and stuff. A nice way, I'd say, to finish this house build, just finding any more flowers or greenery that I could add. But looking around the house to make sure that it's done, it's nice, I've got everything I wanted, and any finishing touches that I might have missed or needed to. But that is it. This is our quaint meadows. Thank you for tuning in to my first Sims 4 speed build. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you guys will enjoy this house when it gets uploaded to the gallery. I can't wait to build more things in the upcoming future videos, but until next time, laters!